X family. Do we actually say the X? I'm not really sure. So Spy family or Spy X family. Let's sort of put that in the comments below what you call it. Do you say the X or don't you say the X? But people are calling this like the perfect anime, where this is season 1 and it is good, like don't get me wrong, but it's a spy who's going on an undercover mission and he needs to like pose as a married couple with a child. So this all needs to come together so he's able to pull off like the biggest mission ever, where wife and daughter also have their own secrets that they're hiding from everyone. But for like a man who is trained in espionage and is meant to be the top spy of all time, he's unable to sort of work out how all these things sort of piece together, where like he even like sort of hints at like he knows it, but he never really gets there. Where the season is 12 episodes and each of the episodes do reasonably well. Like most of them are really good in terms of being able to keep you in that sort of character development. We're looking for a little bit of action and sort of progressing our storyline, where obviously the first couple of episodes we're setting up and we're really building that sort of family dynamic, and we get to meet our main character and he's obviously our super spy, and you get to see how he's the super spy because he's obviously doing things that no one else can do, and he's always, you know, one step ahead, our sort of James Bond kind of stereotype, where he really sort of comes into his own, where he's starting to he has to adopt a child, and he goes to the orphanage, where the orphanage guy is a little bit creepy and he sort of tries to get rid of this sort of troublemaker in the orphanage, where she has her own sort of unique abilities where she can actually read minds, which does add in a nice for the story. So the mind reading does play into the actual story quite a lot, and she's able to give him like the answers that he's looking for. But like in terms of him being able to not know that she's like either crazy intelligent or knows what's going on, where there's points where she's able to read she can read his mind pretty much all the time, to the point where she says the right answers at all times. Like later on down the track, where she actually starts to get her answers wrong in her schoolwork and stuff, where he's trying to use her direction into this school to be able to finish his mission. But like, come on, you're a super spy, you should be able to work out that something's quite special about this child, where she's able to give you exact answers, where he sort of thinks it's related to her watching a spy show, where she's just picking up all these tricks and tips and tricks of being a spy from this TV show, which is weirdly based on him. So it's a little bit on the nose, and I like how it does tie into it. And there is like an episode where they kind of recreate and they have to play the super spies, but then we also get the wife, so they need to be able to portray the wife, where he's actually selects her from like one of the files, where it's never really like they all don't know what each other are doing. Like they all think they're all just developing this family. You guys one's a trained assassin, like the mum's a trained assassin, he's a trained spy, and she can read minds. Like surely somewhere along that dynamic, someone's let something slip where they've kind of realized what's happening, but no, they're just sort of going about their individual needs, and they just don't form that sort of connection for what the other person's doing. But it is a fun show, so the character development and the interactions between the family dynamic and the actual action is really good. I would have liked a little bit more action in terms of seeing the espionage and the action of the trained assassin, but there are moments where obviously our Yori is able to really hold her own in terms of when she actually enrolls into school. Like the dodgeball episode is probably my favorite, and just to see her interact and try and work her way up the food chain with using her mind reading abilities as well. So that's a fun ride in itself, and I do like to see how she's sort of working her way through, and she's really kind of navigating both sides. So obviously Lloyd also is trying to work those both sides, where it all does sort of tee in, but it never really escalates after those 12 episodes, so there is not really a massive sort of cliffhanger where I wanted to see a little bit more in terms of the story peaking. But it is a fun ride throughout. Like it's heartwarming at moments, and it's also just has some laugh out it has some comedy as well, and it just ties into a nice cohesive story at the end. But if you're looking for that high octane action or that really like danger for our main characters, it's not there. It's just about building the family, and I'm hoping in like season 2 they have a little bit more character development and they're able to really have that sort of danger and why they need to all be together and really pay off to be that all-time happy family. But it is a good anime, and I really did enjoy the actual season. I wouldn't say it's like the greatest anime of all time, but it's definitely good, and it's definitely a fun ride. So check it out. Let me know what you think below, and yeah, you know what to do. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends.